Hello and welcome to... Did I start recording the sound? I did! Hello and welcome to my channel, The Danish Readaholic. My name is Silka and today I will be doing my master list file. Before we get started, I do want to say, yes, I am sick. And I have been for the past 4 days. I wanted to film this a little bit sooner so that it could be out on schedule and everything, but that just wasn't gonna happen. So I'm filming it today and editing it and posting it hopefully today, Saturday, as normally just a little bit later than what I usually do. Some of you might have seen my master list file before, at least heard of it, but it is basically a Excel sheet that I have with a bunch of challenges that I set for myself every year. The last couple of years I've kind of been adding on more challenges. I did the buzzword, I did the self-destruct, I had my age in books and all of that. And I actually had one more planned, one new one planned for this year. However, in light of my reading last year and the fact that I was in such a slump, I have decided to not do that and do something else. So I have decided that I am going to do 5 challenges, whereas 2 of them have specific books in them and the last 3 are more open. I'm going to start out going through the ones that have specific books in them, and those 2 are priority reads and 25 in 2025. I'm going to start out with priority since the 10 books that I have in priority is also in 25 and 2025. So that way I will just, let you know which ones are actually priorities and which ones are just additional in 25 and 2025. I hope it makes sense. And I know I said that this master list file thing is going to be super long. I don't think it will, because I only have these 2 with specific books to go through. I just today, a couple minutes ago, deleted all of the books that I had specifically picked for the other ones because I felt like those challenges would do well with just me, having a number that I would like within this category and then see how many I can actually get done. And then if I get all of them done, I will get a prize. So yay. But I'll get into the prizes later on. It's basically a shopping spree depending on how much I can actually read. So I think without further ado, let's just get into it because I've rambled for a couple minutes now and I just said that this video wasn't going to be long. The first book we have on Priority Reads 2025 is Roswell Johnson Saves the World by Chris Colfer. So this is a new Chris Colfer book that was released in, when was it released? 2024? Yay! I got it for my birthday in 2024. I don't think I've hauled it yet. It's gonna be in the next haul that I do in February, so sneak peek. I am a big Chris Colfer fan. Spoiler alert, there's more Chris Colfer books in the 25 and 2025 because I want to be able to say that I've read all Chris Colfer books. And that can only happen if I actually get on with it and read them. This is the first book in a whole new series, and this one is a new series that does not take place in the Land of Stories, which I'm both sad and also super excited for because I'm looking forward to learning of a new place and new types of characters. This is more of a sci-fi, or this is a sci-fi, whereas the others are straight up fantasies. I don't know much about this other than the fact that it should be fairly scientific. He says here, while some elements in this book are exaggerated for dramatic effect, all the science described in the story is based on actual astronomy, astrophysics, biology, botany, chemistry, ecology, genealogy. I can't say all of these. This is not for a non-native English speaker. I can't say that. Anyways, geology, microbiology, physics, psychology, technology, and zoology. I like that. I do know that he goes through a tremendous amount of research when he does his books, like a lot of other authors also do, but there's just something about Chris Colfer's books that I've always loved. So I'm super excited to go back into his writing, and 2025 is definitely going to be the year for that. I'm also kind of hoping to do a reread of Land of Stories, but I think I've said that for multiple years now. But I think I'm going to get them as an audio and then maybe listen to them during summer or something, so that, you know, it's a little bit more light and fluffy. This is going to be such a mess. The next book in my priority reads is Cage of Dreams by Rebecca Schaeffer. This is the sequel. I almost forgot the word. This is the sequel to City of Nightmares, which was one of my it is one of my all-time favorite books and was one of my favorite reads in 2023. I have had this sequel for a while. I think I got it for Christmas last year, and I just haven't picked it up yet. Story of my life. What I'm actually wanting to do, or what I have started to do this year so far, is rereading the first book and then reading the sequels like right after. So I think I'm gonna reread City of Nightmares and then go into this straight after. Next up, we have a book that I'm pretty sure I will have completed in a couple of days. I haven't started it yet, and that is Onyx Storm. I'm kind of tempted to just be like, Onyx Storm, over and out. But Onyx Storm, it's the third book of the Empyrean series. For those of you who don't know what the Empyrean series is, it is Fourth Wing. The series is called the Empyrean, but I'm pretty sure most people know. This is the newest book. It was released just a couple of days ago on the 21st. I don't know why, but I got it on the 20th, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm so happy, but I haven't gotten to it yet because I was stupid enough to have started a book. And I want to finish it first. I'm finishing it today when I've finished filming and editing, and then I will be starting Fourth Wing. Next up, we have Serpent Sea by Maya Ibrahim. This is also a book that I am hoping that I will be able to tick off in a couple of days. Whereas I'm starting Onyx Storm as an audiobook, I like to do one audio and one physical at the same time. So I'm doing Serpent Sea as a physical book. It will take me a little bit longer than listening to Onyx Storm, but I'm sure is the wrong word. I'm hoping that I will also be able to finish this before February. Have I said what it is? It's a sequel to Spice Road. I just reread Spice Road this year, and I loved it as I did the first time I read it, also in 2023. It is also one of my all-time favorites. I'm super excited to see where it goes. I know that this is not the conclusion of the series, so I will have to wait for the third one, but I'm excited to see what is gonna happen. Next book is actually a book that I've already read. It is more so with the intention of finishing the series, so I want to reread the first one. And since I don't have the entire series, it might be a read that I'm kind of holding off on, because I would like to have the entire series so that I can binge it. The book that I'm talking about is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I really want to get on with all of the Sarah J. Maas series that I have started. I have read this, and I have read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I've kind of decided to do this one first because I think that this is the one that I like the most. I also love these new covers. They're so stunning. But yeah, I'm actually super excited to go back into this. So the next book that I want to prioritize in 2025 is Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. I am a big Chloe Gong fan, and I want to read all of the books that I have by her this year. So that is a spoiler for some of the other books that will be on the list. But Foul Lady Fortune is definitely one of the ones that I want to get to first. Also because it's kind of a spin-off to These Violent Delights. And if I'm really good, I can read Last Violent Call, then do this, then do Foul Heart Huntsman, and then we're good to go and ready for Immortal Longings, which is, I think that is an adult series that she has, where the newest one is called, I think it's Vilest Thing, which sounds great. And I'm not sure that this is actually done. I think it might be a trilogy or something. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. This, especially after reading the blurb for my haul, I was like, oh my god, I need to get on with this book like ASAP. But I still have like some type of wish to finish Foul Lady Fortune first. And I don't know why. I think it's because that is still kind of connected to These Violent Delights, or it could be because of like the publishing order. I don't know, man. I'm saying that is because it's kind of connected to These Violent Delights, because it is, and I don't think this is. Then we have one that I've finished. Spoiler alert for that. But I have finished Winterkeep, so I can already tick that off as a book for my priority reads that I have completed. This is the 4th book in the Graceling series by Kristen Kishore that I have. I think the Graceling book, like the one that is just called Graceling, is the one that actually like got me into reading in the beginning of everything. So I have a lot of love for that book and for that series, or this series, so I would like to finish it this year. And I'm on my way. I think I have 1 book left. I do have 1 book left. It's not something I think, it's something I know. Because as far as I know, she is not publishing any new books to this series. I could be wrong. I mean, we thought that for a couple of years, but you know. So the next book that I want to talk about before changing my battery is Kingdom of the Cursed by Karen Maniscalco. I read Kingdom of the Wicked years ago when we got it in a fairy loot. I think I read it straight away, loved it, bought the sequel, waited for the 3rd one so I could read them back to back. Now that I have the 3rd one, I still haven't read them back to back, but I want to, so that is on my to-do list for this year. I loved the atmosphere in this, loved the aesthetic. If I remember correctly, it was like Italian, but like gothic and old and stuff. Wow, I'm explaining that well. It's my sick brain, not knowing what to say. I remember loving this book, Kingdom of the Wicked, so goddamn much. Loving the characters, adoring Wrath. So it's a mystery to me why I haven't continued with the series. So here we are, putting it on a priority list. And the final book is a book that I have read before, multiple times actually. I've also kind of made it my mission to read it once every year, and also watch the movie once every year, which is hard because it's not on any streaming service, in Denmark at least. It is my all-time favorite book, all-time favorite movie, and if you haven't guessed already, it's Coraline. I have a Coraline dedicated shelf. I want more of the editions of Coraline. It is one of my all-time favorite books. It is super scary. It is supposed to be a children's book. I'm not sure I agree with that. It is amazing. That's all I have to say. And I'm gonna be reading it again this year. So that was my top 10 priority. These are obviously also on my 25 in 2025. So what I'm gonna do now is change my battery. Then I'm gonna go through the remaining 15 books on my 25 in 2025, which I all have like lying about in front of me. So, yay! Now that I've changed my camera, or not changed my camera, but switched the battery, we are ready for the next round, woohoo, of books. Let's start out with the book that I actually have already read, and that is Bonesmith. Bonesmith was my 2nd read of the year, I believe. And it was good, it was fine. I'm glad I've read it, because this actually ticks off a couple of boxes in a couple of the challenges. I think all but one, actually. So yay me for that. I don't have much else to say. This was on my 25 in 2025. I've already read it. Ticks off multiple boxes. It is good. Next up, I am quickly going to show you 3 books, because I've chosen them for the exact same reason. So we have The Darkness Within Us, Daughter of the Pirate King, and The Shadow Between Us. What possible reason could I have for picking all 3 books? Well, these are the Trisha Leventhal books that I have on my shelves that I have not read yet. So before getting more Trisha Leventhal books, I would like to actually read the ones that I have. What a brand new creative idea. I know. Here we are putting these 3 on my 25 in 2025. I feel like going through this list is also going to be fairly quick because a lot of the books are for the same reason. Like, for example, Kingdom of the Wicked, Kingdom of the Feared. I've allowed myself to put these on my 25 in 2025 because I want to finish the series and I would preferably like to binge it. So it would be so cool if I could actually put all of these in the same TBR, so I could get points for it. They don't look like super duper long, which is good. I want to finish this series this year, and I mean it, which is why I've put it on multiple lists. Obviously, Kingdom of the Cursed is also on the 25 in 2025, but I've said that already the first 10 books that I talked about are also on this list. Which brings me to Last Violin Call by Chloe Gong. If there's any book that I should be able to finish fairly fast, it is this. It is what? How long is it? It's 226 pages. I could read that fairly quickly. Let's just keep going with the ones that have that this reason. Like, I wanna... Okay, so I think that I really wanted to do was, you see this shelf behind me, right here. That is where I put favorite books or favorite authors. Currently, it consists of Kristen Kishore, Rebecca Yarros, Trisha Levenseller, Macchia Lucia, and Rebecca Schaefer. Next to it is my Chloe Gong shelf, which is like an extension of the favorite shelf, but I have so many Chloe Gong that I felt like I could fit them there instead. My goal is to completely finish off that shelf. So any book I have by any of those authors should have been finished this year. That is the dream. Similarly to what I said about Chris Colfer. That leads me to Sea Sparrow by Kristen Kishore. This is the final book in the Graceling series. So not only will I be continuing my quest to finish off my favorite shelf, but also finish off the series that got me into reading fantasy so many years ago. Why haven't I read this? It's a goddamn chunker. I'm excited. I don't actually know what this is about, which is cool. Let's just finish off the books that are on here for the reason of finishing off either my favorite shelf or the Chris Colfer shelf. Dragon Fruit by Macchia Lucia. As we have established in my haul, I actually don't know a damn thing about this book, but it seems nice. So there we are. No, it's honestly because I really liked Macchia Lucia's writing in Year of the Reaper. So I'm hoping that it was not because, well, it would also be nice if it was because of like the book, the story. But I'm hoping that it's also because of her writing, because then I have a new favorite author. Or at least one that could become one eventually. I'm excited to see what this is about, because it's vastly different from Year of the Reaper. Next up, we have Tale of Magic, Tale of Witchcraft, and Tale of Sorcery by Chris Colfer. They're not the same height, and it is annoying. And also, this one doesn't have the same kind of foiling that these do on the cover, which is also annoying. This is a fantasy series by Chris Colfer that is set in the Land of Stories, following some of the same characters, but basically a prequel to the Land of Stories. I love this series. It annoys me so much that this is the only series that have been translated to Danish. The Land of Stories has not. And personally, I think that reading The Land of Stories before reading Tale of Magic gives this one so much more meaning, which is great. I haven't read these, but I'm guessing that it's just going to continue. And I actually messaged the publishing house saying, you know what? I love that you're translating this. I love that you've seen this book because it's great. How about you actually translate the series that it's a spin-off of beforehand, But they messaged me and were like, thank you for reaching out. We understand where you're coming from. We're glad to hear that you're loving these books. But they think that this is the better series, which, fine. So they decided only to do this, which is also fine. I just disagree with them. But I want to finish this for the same reason I wanted to do Roswell Johnson, which is to complete all of Chris Colfer's books. Next up, we have Red Tigress by Emily Van Sau, which is the sequel to Blood Heir. I don't have the third book, but it's definitely on my to-buy list whenever I'm allowed to. So I'm hoping to finish this series off this year as well. I actually really loved the first one. Unfortunately, I don't remember all that much about it, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a reread on that, which I don't mind. Same goes for Midnight Orchestra by Jessica Curry, which is a middle grade focusing on this magical school that has a lot to do with music, which normally I don't really care much for when the magic system is centered around music. It's fine, I just feel like it's not for me. But this one, I don't know why, but I absolutely loved it. And this is the sequel and also the conclusion to the story, at least to my knowledge. We're trying to finish off series this year. That is the main goal. The final book. With all of these books here, I've kind of reread some favorites that I wanted to read like every year. Finished off a couple of series, finished off a couple of like favorites, which is the same, you know, finishing series. And getting to more material from my favorite authors. This one is put on the list more to like get me back into these types of books. Well, these types of books sounds stupid, but this series, I guess you could call it, because I have 5 of these books and I've read 1. Unfortunately, that one that I read wasn't really for me, so I think that is what has been keeping me from reaching for these. I really want to keep reading them because there's so many books in this series that I want to read, and I don't feel like I can justify getting them if I don't continue in the Twisted Tales series. I have decided to pick Go the Distance, which is a Hercules retelling following Meg, I think primarily, because it says, what if Meg had to become a Greek god? Which sounds super cool. And I really, really want to continue with the Twisted Tales because the ones that are just coming out in the more recent years are just sounding so goddamn cool and are based on characters that I absolutely love, and I want to get them and read them. But as I said, I don't feel like I can justify continuing to buy books in this series without actually reading the ones that I own. So that is also kind of a to-do list that I have, to read the books that I have in general, but the Twisted Tales ones. Of the ones that I have, I think this is the one where I like the story the best, so I'm going for this to put on my 25 books to read in 2025. So those were the list, or the challenges, where I have specific books picked. I felt like it would be a little bit too easy if I removed all the books for 25 and 2025, because then it would just be like the same as my Goodreads goal, but with like 10 books left. Or less, not left. The challenges I have left. One is called A to Z, TBR, which is, as you might have guessed already, I have to read a book for every single letter of the alphabet. I am obviously excluding the Danish letters. I am just using the English alphabet. We have 3 additional letters in the Danish alphabet, and it is impossible to find books that start with those. So I'm not doing that. I am also excluding X and Z. I am gonna try and read a book for every single letter of the alphabet. Does it make sense? Am I explaining it okay? I think you understand, even if I didn't explain it. Next up, I have one that is called Series to Finish. There was specific series that I had put on this. I don't have all of my books here. Also, I just feel like completing series in itself is great. I don't need to pick ahead of time which series I am completing. I'm giving myself that one. Because I hadn't put like stuff like Serpent Sea on it. I don't think I put the Graceling Realm on it either. I had just put random series that I knew that I had started on here, and then I was like looking at it and I was like, I don't really want to read, or it's not a priority to finish this series this year. So, and I know I just could have changed it, but what if I then change my mind in a couple of months? So instead, I have decided that I'm gonna add a number to it, which is 10. So I'm hoping to complete 10 different series this year. And the final challenge that I set for myself is something that I call Fairy Loot Knockout. And that is because I have so many Fairy Loots that I haven't read. I currently have 45 Fairy Loot books that I haven't read. And in order to, keep on having the Fairy Loot subscription, I want to actually know that I'm reading the books that I get from it. Because if I don't read them, I don't see a point of keeping the subscription. Or maybe I should change the subscription to Romantasy or something else. I've been thinking about that for a while now. So I want to do this Fairy Loot Knockout challenge where I have to read at least 12 Fairy Loot books this year to get like a reward. I think I'm actually gonna add to it, so I'm gonna have to read 15 Fairy Loot books. And with the books I've picked here, for 25 and 2025. There's actually not a single one. Because all of them are like sequels. And if it's a book that I have already read, it is not on the list of books, fairy tale books that I haven't read. So, yay! But I mean, my total goal of the year is 35. And I'm hoping I can do more. I've already read like 5 books this year. So, we're doing well. So I think that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment telling me if you have any challenges that you have set for yourself this year. And if so, what are they? If you just want to let me know that you're here, please leave an emoji of a computer, because that is where I have all my lists. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, bye!